Hey guys, Beast here with another flashlight review. After the popularity of the Xtar Meteor, Xtar contacted me and said, would you like to test out a few more lights? Of course, I'm not going to turn down an opportunity for that. And I have a feeling some of you are really going to like this review and some of you are going to hate it, but for different reasons. I really think for those of you that enjoy the AA flashlights, we're just going to set that right there. That's the Spark one, previously reviewed. You're going to really enjoy these lights. The reason you guys are going to hate me for this is because it's another light that you're going to want to pick up. Along with sort of EDC lights, put the Meteor right next to it. Also put the old PD20. Of course, these are CR123s. These three are AA's. Now let's get into the differences. These are both Xtars. This is the WK26. This is the WK25B. This is the second edition of the 25. So if you happen to look at websites for the Xtar, the older one will be the 25 and the newer one will be the 25B. I'm not sure where they come up with the names for these, but they're not terribly exciting. But flashlight manufacturers tend to really go kind of very simple with their names and somewhat confusing for a lot of the public, and I'm not sure the reasoning behind that, but they don't tend to get super creative with the names. The main difference here in the 25, and I'll put all the specs down there at the bottom, or I'll put links actually probably to the Xtar website. Now a couple of the actual specs. The 25B only has two settings. You're only going to get a low at 15 lumens for about 15 hours, and you're going to get a high of 150 lumens at 50 hours. This is only IPX6, which is basically splash proof. I'll put in a test that I always do, sort of the dunk test in a bucket of water. As you know, sometimes I'll run them through a high pressure machine at a restaurant just to test the seals. Even at an IPX6, this passed all the tests that I put them through. I was really kind of expecting this one to kick the bucket. This one is IPX7, so it's a little bit heavier duty of quality standards, even though the prices are going to be about the same. Quick specs on the 26. And I'll probably have to just change the names of these here, but the 26 is a low of 5 lumens for 200 hours, 125 in medium for 2.5 hours, and at high is 250 lumens for 1 hour. Again, this is IPX7. These are both using the XPE, which is a newer LED. The XPE is a very small die. See if you can see that in there. It's a very small die LED compared to, say, the XML. See how much bigger that one is? That's why the XML one, it has a little bit more oomph to it, but it's also a floodier beam. It's much more broad, and I'll get into some pictures and stuff like that. But the main thing you get with the XPEs, I believe it's an R3, is you get fantastic runtime for the amount of output you get. When you look at the 25 earlier series than the B, you'll see you're getting a little bit more lumens, of course, and you're also getting much better runtime. So, without carrying on about all the specifics, the main two differences between these two lights, besides this one has more modes and is a little bit brighter, is the battery source. Take this guy. I've got just a standard 1.5 volt Duracell, your standard alkaline. You can run these off of nickel metal hydrides or end loops, anything that's 1.5 volt, so you can still use this as an EDC and have rechargeable in there. This guy, the WK26, is going to run off of the lithium ion series. Now this runs at a higher voltage. It's a different battery. This is a 3.7 volt, also known as a 14500. One of the things that I really appreciated about the Spark that I brought in here earlier is the Spark will run all the way from your 1.5 standard rechargeables or Duracells up to the lithium ion 3.7s. It has a higher range of usage. The difference with the Xtars is going to be that with the lithium ion you can't use the 1.5 volts or the regular Duracells. And with the I'll just call it the regular AA one, the WK25B, that has the 1.5 volts, so the regular Duracells or regular rechargeables, you cannot put the lithium ion in there. So, sorry about that, my battery died. Basically what I was saying is you won't get the best of both worlds. So with the Spark, I'm able to run any AA battery. With the Xtar, you're going to have to decide from the beginning sort of what you want to run. Again, very simple modes, 2 modes here with the regular one. You know, it's easy enough. These are cheap enough. You can get lithium ion chargers. It's not really an issue, but you know, the cost is a little bit greater initially, but I prefer the lithium ion. The switches on both of these are just tail clicks. Immediately you're going to see this one is a little bit brighter. This is the lithium ion. This is the I can put it down into low. You won't be able to see. You just sort of double click these. There's a strobe. There's an SOS. There's a low. There's a medium, and there's a high. And this also has a strobe. I should have mentioned that. But with that, you can see just the brightness once the camera starts to adjust. But virtually these are the same size flashlights. Same size reflectors, nearly identical everything else. So the one feature that this really gets, that the Meteor shared, is that ability to customize your settings. Those 4 little tabs, the 8 little things on there, when you solder a piece across those terminals, you can essentially render it null. So if you are never going to use strobe, or never going to want SOS, or you don't like medium and you want low and high, you can program that into that simply by bridging those contacts with a little bit of solder. It's a neat feature that I mentioned in this review that I haven't taken advantage of. I just don't think my skill level is high enough to produce that solder. I have played around using a pencil graphite, which is an old laptop or old CPU trick, just taking a heavy graphite pencil and bridging those contacts, and that works for a little while. Do some quick indoor tests. Hopefully the beam comes up a little bit. It is not a perfect beam. You have a little bit of halo issue, mostly because it's a completely smooth reflector, that small die, but these are great little throwers. We'll put the lithium ion, the 26, next to it. You can see how much brighter it is. It is a little bit bluer tint, at least than the ones I got. Go down to low, strobe, and back to high. So if you're curious, the XPE, which is now the 26, it's in this hand here. I'm only about 3 meters or 3 feet from the wall, excuse me. If I turn the Meteor on, that has that XML, you can see the bigger, floodier LED has a bigger hotspot, where this is more tight and confined. So it depends on what LED you want. This is one of my new favorites, simply because I really like the 14500 lithium ion cell. I don't have any of the weird digital switch issues that I had with the Spark, and the price point is ridiculous. As I mentioned in the beginning, some of you are going to hate me. A lot of you really appreciated the price point of the Xtar Meteor. I think it was like $33 on their eBay site. Now the 25B, the 25B is fairly new. I haven't found it a whole lot of places other than their eBay site online. I'm sure in the next weeks or so that should be increasing. The Spark, a lot of people didn't like. It was 60 to 80 bucks depending on where you found it. Even, the Phoenixes are going to run up there. The website I'll give you down below is the SPC flashlight guy, and he had the 26s for $16.99. It's like 17 bucks or something like that. On the Xtar website, you'll see I think they're both around 20 bucks. That is still a smoking deal for what you get for these lights. Considering they're both about the same price, you really have to kind of decide what power source you want to go to, what capacity and the lumens. I'd really interest you, especially a lot of you guys that aren't really into flashlights that much. Maybe you're starting to, especially if you're watching these reviews, and you're starting to get maybe the Phoenixes, and you're realizing that there's other lights out there other than the Home Depot mag lights. Look into these. Again, the size is great, the EDC is good. Even if you have to pick up a charger for another $15, you're at 35 bucks. The cells are a couple bucks each, but I haven't had any issues with any of the cells, where occasionally I run into issues charging end loops and even just the Energizer's version of the rechargeables with the lifespan. These are going to have a much better life, and they all still fit in like the little county comm. I usually keep a spare. This is the one I had on the charger. It even holds lithium ion. So even though this flashlight here, isn't going to be able to take regular cells, my 26 I've been carrying with me, if I run dead, I can't just grab a Duracell or something from the grocery store. I have to make sure I go home or have a spare lithium on me. So really depends. I think they're a great flashlight. Terrific quality for the price point. The threads on these are incredibly smooth. I haven't had any issues. You saw the water test picture I'll insert. The anodizing isn't, super tough. I've got nicks where the block is flaking off. But, maybe a slight orange peel would be nice to get rid of the halo. But once you get outside with these, you really aren't going to notice the difference that much. And these really shine when you get outside.